Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, interesting stuff. It's always a pleasure on this channel. Whenever I get the opportunity to make a video about this fighter, I don't even care how many views it gets because I'll be honest, he doesn't give me the most views in the world, but I love talking about him because he's my favorite fighter of all time, any era of boxing history. And you know who I'm talking about. My main man, 50 grand. We call him on this channel. We call him the real TBE, and that's the former pound-for-pound king of boxing, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Now, the latest developments with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez are interesting because I've read in multiple articles over the last several weeks that him and Gallo Estrada, who just recently beat Rongvisai for the WBC super flyweight title, they're both open to doing a rematch. Now, many of you who are maybe not familiar with these small weight classes, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, that is, and Gallo Estrada had a classic fight in 2012. Roman Gonzalez. This is when Roman Gonzalez was in his prime. Gallo Estrada was a bit younger, but it was a great fight. I think to this day it's the best win of Roman Gonzalez's career. And I've always said that Gallo Estrada, even before he beat Rongvisai, Gallo Estrada is the best fighter Roman Gonzalez has ever beaten, and that rings true even more so to this day. So yeah, they're both open to a rematch. And I want to read the quotes from what he had to say, Roman Gonzalez, and that Estrada that is. So here's what Chocolatito said about facing Gallo and just what he thought about his performance against Rongvisai. He said, I quote, "Like every boxer, I would like to face whoever is the world champion. Gallo Estrada has his plans and I have mine. If he gives me the opportunity to face him again, it's fine. And if not, I'll keep looking for a crown on the other side. But at the moment, I have nothing confirmed. I'm still in the gym training." He then went on by saying, I quote, It was an excellent fight. He did what he had to do. The corner of El Gallo knew that he had to move a lot and not stay in front of him too long because he could not get caught. In short, he did an excellent job." So, kind words there from Chocolatito in regards to his former opponent and the current WBC champion. And then when we talk about Gallo, Gallo cited Roman Gonzalez about he cited Chocolatito as a guy he'd like to fight. He said the fight with Roman Gonzalez is one that a lot of people ask for. And that was pretty much it. He didn't say a whole lot, but he said it in passing when he was naming his options. So both these guys want the fight again. Roman Gonzalez hasn't been in the ring since he fought on the undercard of Triple G versus Canelo 2, and that's when he knocked out Moises Fuentes viciously. It was a great knockout by him. So look, right now as it stands, let's go to the rankings. Right now as it stands, Chocolatito is not ranked by the IBF at all, so he's probably not going to go the German and Cajas route. He's not ranked by the WBO, so that he's probably not going to go that route. So you'd be led to believe that Chocolatito is either going to go the WBC route because he's ranked number 2 in the WBC. So maybe Gallo decides to defend against Roman Gonzalez for his first title defense, or better yet, Roman's ranked number 5 by the WBA, and he can get that fight that I've been talking about seemingly forever on this channel against him, with him and Khalid Yafai. And it's funny, like, I don't think that's a fight where, because I think Eddie Hearn is going to protect Khalid Yafai, and Khalid Yafai will be in a big domestic fight against Charlie Edwards, who's a champion at flyweight right now, WBC champion at flyweight. So I don't think they're going to go Roman Gonzalez route, but if he was able to get that fight, I think he would absolutely dust, destroy, and dismantle Khalid Yafai. And it's his easiest way back to a title. And once he gets that belt, that would make a Gallo Estrada rematch that much bigger. Because right now, if they do a rematch, it would be Roman Gonzalez has lost 2 of his last 3 fights, and he's ranked number 2 in the WBC. So it's a first title defense for Gallo Estrada. But then if he gets a belt, it adds that much more intrigue into it, because then it's a big unification fight, which is a rematch. So, I would rather, in a perfect world, I like to see Roman Gonzalez beat Khalid Yafai, get the WBA belt, and then try to unify with Gallo Estrada right after that. But as for the fight itself, if they were to fight again at this point in their careers, I'll be honest with you guys, it's no secret on this channel, I am a massive Chocolatito Gonzalez supporter. I love Roman Gonzalez. He's my favorite fighter of all time. I've defended this guy when he was pound king, when dummies try to say Andre Orr was the best fighter in boxing, which was never the case. So my long history with Chocolatito Gonzalez, as far as my me being a fan of his on this channel and supporting him, it goes back a while, a long time. But I favor Gallo Estrada in this fight just because, first of all, Gallo's in his prime right now. Gallo has figured himself out as a fighter. He's matured. He's gotten better since the Gonzalez fight. When he lost the fight to Gonzalez, he went on to beat some pretty damn good fighters like Giovanni Segura, Brian Valoria. He beat Carlos Cuadras. And then, obviously, he beat the guy that beat Roman Gonzalez twice in Rungvisai. So, and now he's not quite where Roman was, because when Roman was in his prime, Roman was the guy. He was the best fighter in boxing, bar none, no doubt about it. But he is making his way towards that upper echelon of boxing where he's got to be on your pound for pound list now, and 2-3 more wins, and we're talking about a guy that's top 5, top 3, caliber pound for pound fighter, because of the resume, the style, the manner in which he's beating guys is just, it's remarkable stuff from Gallo Estrada. So if they do fight, I'm favoring Gallo because this weight class is he's more naturally suited for this weight class. Roman is obviously not. He's not his best self at this weight anymore. He's older. He's been in wars. But I will say this, because I've always said this when it comes to these two fighting. People, if this fight ever does get made, people are going to write off Chocolatito Gonzalez because they don't know shit about boxing. But styles make fights. And yeah, he lost to Rungvisai because Rungvisai was probably the only guy in the division, that could make Roman Gonzalez back up and outwork him. But I've always said, if you can't back Roman Gonzalez up, you can't beat him. And the main reason why Gallo, I think, would still, to this day, struggle against Chocolatito Gonzalez is the fact that I don't think he'll be able to back him up. Yeah, he's gotten better. Yeah, he's matured. Yeah, he's a smarter fighter. And he might even outpoint him. Might be countering the shit out of him all night. But when we talk Roman Gonzalez, we're talking about a guy who has one of the best work rates in boxing. We're talking about a man who made a whole career and became the pound-for-pound king of boxing off of being an exceptionally economical fighter, not wasting movement, not wasting punches. And I believe that he's got plenty of left in the tank to give Gallo Estrada, put him in some serious trouble. I mean, back him up, hurt him, stun him. I think it's still a competitive fight. And I know people are going to write him off. And, that's okay, because guess what? Before Julian Williams fought Jarrett Hurd, they wrote Julian Williams off, and he had got knocked out by Jamal Charlo. So look, boxing is about styles. It's about styles. It's about, the triangle theories don't always work. Just because Gallo outboxed and had a great performance against Rungvisai does not mean that he's gonna go in there and beat Chocolatito Gonzalez. Because let's have it right, when he fought him the first time, yeah, Roman was a smaller guy, but Roman did what Roman always does. He gets these guys who are bigger than him to get on their bicycle. He puts intelligent pressure on you. He breaks you down going to the body. And is he that guy from 2012? Is he the guy from 2015? No, he's not. He's not at that level anymore. But he's still a guy that on his night is one of the top fighters in the world. He's still a guy that is a tough out for anybody in the division, because let's have it right. In the first Rungvisai fight, he gave everything Rungvisai. He gave Rungvisai everything he could handle in the first fight. The second fight, okay, we gave Rungvisai his credit. Also, Roman Gonzalez had some things happen to him outside the ring, which I think led him to not be at his best. But fair play to Roman Gonzalez. He knocked the hell out of Roman Gonzalez. You can't knock him for that, because Roman Gonzalez is an all-time great, first ballot Hall of Famer. So I want to just end the video on this note. Roman Gonzalez will be the underdog in that fight. I will favor Estrada. I'll probably pick Estrada, but Chocolatito has a great chance of, as anybody in that division. I'll even say this. Because when we look at that division right now, the other champions outside of Gallo Estrada are Cali Defy and Cajas. I'm going to say this. Chocolatito Gonzalez, even right now, with the being in the wars he's been in, the inactivity, all that stuff, he's got a better chance of beating Gallo Estrada than Cali Defy and Jeremy Cajas. Because Cali Defy, we all know he's been protected for a long time, and really he's a fraud of a champion at this point, because you got outboxed and thoroughly destroyed last year by Israel Gonzalez. So he shouldn't even have a belt right now. So he's nothing. He's a nothing champion as far as I'm concerned. And then as far as Nakaz, he's a good fighter, a solid guy. But the pressure of Gonzalez would be too much for him. He'd break Nakaz down. These guys are not gonna. These guys just don't have enough in their skill set, in their overall fight game, to beat a guy operating at the level of a guy at Estrada right now. Your fight would get outclassed, and Cajas would get probably outboxed. To beat a guy like Guy Estrada, there needs to be a fighter that's been to the big dance, that's been in big fights, that's won big fights, that can back him up. And really, when we look at this weight class right now, only guys the only 2 guys in the top 15 that I can see doing that are maybe Chocolatito and maybe Donnie Nietes and maybe an Israel Gonzalez, maybe those 3. But other than those, all I'm saying is Roman Gonzalez has a better chance of beating Rangmasai, better chance than Yafai and Kaz. I believe he's still that dangerous. He's that much better than those guys. And really, to me, I think the way it should go is Roman should fight Yafai. If he beats him, unify the division, and that's just what it is. But just want to get that out there because both fighters have stated already that they're both open to a rematch. I know there's a lot of people on here, particularly Chocolatito haters, who say that Roman Gonzalez got a gift and guy was robbed, which is ridiculous. He won 4 rounds at max against Roman Gonzalez, but I'd love to see this fight, and it would do me a lot of good to see Roman Gonzalez as the underdog when he does get written off, beat this guy, because he never gets his due, and people always have a lot to say about him. And he's a first ballot, real deal Hall of Famer, a living legend, and one of the all-time active greats in boxing right now. And y'all better recognize the real TBE, Roman Gonzalez. And hopefully we get some news on his upcoming fight, because I'm sick of making videos about who I think he should fight and being open. I want to actually get hyped to see Roman Gonzalez fight again. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about this potential rematch. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.